Hello everybody, Russian Batman back with another video, and today I got a little bit of a different video for y'all. As you probably saw, I have been doing Nintendo Switch shell swaps recently. It's kind of become a recent obsession, so I thought I'd make this video just to kind of show all the ones I've been doing. This is, I don't want to say the reason I haven't been uploading a lot recently, but it's definitely a reason. So I wanted to just kind of show off all the different shell swaps I did. Well, not all of them. I do have some that older ones I haven't done, but I kind of got into this more seriously recently when it came to the Switch 2. For example, I've never done like a full Joy-Con shell swap until now. And all of these shells I've done are from Extreme Rate. If you ever interested in doing shell swaps, go to Extreme Rate's website. They got extremely good stuff. Because like everything you get from them, they come with like little screws and whatnot. So you have all the tools you need and you don't need to get additional tools. They're pretty, not easy to put together. I would recommend doing some beginner-friendly, like a really good beginner-friendly shell swap to do would be a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Those are extremely easy to swap over because you don't have to deal with ribbon cables and stuff. But I want to show off just some of the shell swaps I've done. So first one, I'm going to show off the most basic one I did is for these Nintendo Switch Zelda controllers. These are the default ones. The only thing I added is these buttons are in white, so to kind of match the backing of it, and the analog sticks are in white. Now these are Hall effect sticks. Now, like I said, they come in white, and they even include, like I said, white in the inside. The benefit for these is allegedly they last longer. Again, like I said, I don't know if these are true Hall effects. They're advertised as Hall effects, but they're also like pretty cheap. To get like two of these is like maybe like 10-15 bucks or something, and it just makes your Switch last way longer. And I noticed like Nintendo Switch just Joy-Cons in general just tend to wear out pretty easily. Like these thumbsticks were worn out to crap, and that's the reason I did the swap. But this is the most basic swap I did, so I just want to show that one off first because it's not super in depth. And as we're showing off Nintendo Switch 1 controllers, here is another set I did. These are the SNES themed. I'm really happy with these. Now the main reason I did these is because I had tons of old Joy-Cons that I didn't sell off or anything. I used to have way more. But I'm like, you know what? These aren't working anymore. They're kind of broken. They got drift. So let me just repair them. So the things I did to repair this one is obviously same Hall effect sticks, new railing too, because once you click it into the Switch, it can be loose over time. But just getting a new railing makes it way better. And also the shell swap. Now, like I said, these aren't like once you do all these modifications, it isn't that cheap, but it is cheaper than like getting a whole new set of controllers. So if you have old controllers, I highly recommend looking into revamping them because, like I said, these used to be crappy old ones that I just never used. But now, I have some extra ones. And like I said, the benefit of having a Switch 2 is that these still work on a Switch 2. So if you need more controllers for your Switch 2 and don't want to spend $100 on the new Joy-Con 2s, just revamp some old controllers. It's a great way to do it. Now, it's going to be ironic that I said that because I actually do have some, I did actually buy some more Switch 2 controllers because Extreme Rate did recently start doing Switch 2 stuff. So here are the first pair. Now, these are actually based off Nintendo's official alternate colors, but the colors only in the rim and the inside of the thumbstick. The rest of it was all black. Now, Extreme Rate recently released, I saw this online, the rest of the shell. Now, if you get this main body, it's actually fairly cheap. It's about 20 bucks on Extreme Rate. But again, you have to include the price of the Joy-Con, so you're really spending over 120, which, is it worth it? I don't know, you tell me. I don't think it's really worth it, but I think it just looks super cool, and I just really wanted to do it. But if you do replace the rail, that's actually a lot more expensive. You can get a kit that's the rail, and then the shell, and it's about like 30 bucks. But then if you want to replace the thumbstick, you actually have to replace the entire thumbstick to do that, because it's hard to get this piece off without damaging the stick. So Extreme Rate does offer alternate colors, but it does replace the entire thumbstick in total. However, like I said, when you just replace the main body, it's a little bit cheaper. So that's why I wanted to do it. And I just think these look really clean and really nice. I'm super happy with them. All right. And then next up, these are actually the Joy-Cons that started this whole catalyst. And these, I'm super proud of. So these were my base Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons. I decided to do the transparent purple. At the time, they didn't have an opaque purple. They still don't. This is the closest thing they have to an opaque purple. And transparent purple with the gold buttons. Now, again, this one was quite pricey because you have to do the rail. And the rail comes with these the metal buttons. That's the reason I think they're pricier. And it's also just a lot harder to do. Doing this rail was kind of a pain because there's so much going on inside it. It's a lot easier just to do the main shell. And also they replaced the thumbstick. So this thumbstick has that same transparent purple. And yeah, but I'm super happy with it. And you can even see the lights turn on inside. Now, for some reason with this one, the lights like stopped working for a bit and they started working again. So I don't know what happened. And also, if you look closely here, I did kind of do it wrong. So this screw is like not there. It's broken. You do have to be a little bit careful. I notice, I think their transparent colors tend to be a little bit more brittle than their opaque ones. I don't know for sure. It's also cool you could like see the screws. I just like seeing everything inside there. And also went with the gold. Again, kind of a Waluigi color scheme is what I was going for, but I'm super happy with how these turned out. And like I said, these are my base ones on the Nintendo Switch 2. And then the other ones are additional Joy-Con 2s I got just for the heck of it. And I really just wanted to do that color scheme, that match. Okay, last thing I want to show off here is I did 2 Nintendo Switch Lite mods. Now, the first one here is just transparent purple. So it's transparent purple with black buttons. This is actually going to be a gift. Someone wanted a Switch 2 Switch Lite. And the benefit to doing the shell swap is you could find Switch Lites fairly cheap. I ended up getting this Switch Lite for about, I think 80 bucks. I got this one for 80 bucks. And then to revamp it, the buttons, the sticks, and then the shell, I think in total was only about $130. And to buy a new one of these is about 200 bucks. So unlike the Joy-Con 2s, which is really not financially worth it to do this, I think this is actually a great way to revamp an old console. Again, I just go on OfferUp and you can find tons of Switch Lites that are fairly cheap. If it's over 100 bucks, I wouldn't buy it. But if it's under 100, you use the 70 or 80 mark, or even 60 bucks. You can get one for 60 bucks. I saw a few listings for 60. It's really worth it. If you just want a Switch and you know someone who just doesn't have a Switch and they want to play video games, this is a great little console. I just think this is still just such a good little console to have in general. I do think it's funny. The reason I did this is because randomly on my YouTube feed, I started getting a ton of Switch Lite content ever since the Switch 2. I don't know why that is, because I remember when the Switch Lite came out, it wasn't super popular. But now all of a sudden, I feel like every YouTuber and their mother is like, actually, the Switch 2 was underrated the whole time. I loved it the whole time. Like, no, you did. You're a LARPer. I had this. Well, I used to have one day one. I guess I'm a LARPer too because I got rid of mine. But this is the first one I did. And then also another thing I would like to mention, when you do a shell swap, the color on the inside, the bezel color, stays the same. So Extreme Right also offers you a screen protector that covers that bezel color, which I really like because this was like, I don't know if it was gray or purple, but it was something that didn't match the orange. So I like they give you this gray bezel to kind of hide that color without replacing, because to replace the actual bezel, normally you have to replace the whole screen and it's the whole thing. Alrighty then. Now, last but not least, this is the one I've been waiting to show off. This is the Game Boy color swap. I went with the Game Boy theme. At first, when I saw the shell, I didn't like it. But then once I realized it was emulating the Game Boy, I'm like, okay, I kind of have to get it. I do like the back of it. I don't remember these lines also being on a Game Boy. I'm a fake LARPer. I'm not old enough to have a Game Boy. The only Game Boy I have is this Lego Game Boy. But does it have the lines? Oh, no, it has the lines on the top. Okay, wait a minute. This is what it's replicating. Okay, I get the reference. And I know that's replicating that little back section. But yeah, so there's that. But the main reason I did this swap, this was for myself, because I replaced the screen. So this is an OLED screen from Super... a Retro Remake, I think is the name of the company. It's this. It's a Super OLED 5. I am super happy with how this turned out. Again, it took me a century and a half to get this thing. Not as long as some people when they first did the launch of it, but it's basically a mod where it is an OLED screen. So I'll give a more proper comparison because you have this big light in the middle, so I do apologize for the glare, but I'll try my best. It's a little bit hard to pick up on camera. Oh, but already you can kind of see what's going on. You see the reds are way deeper. And yeah, it is phenomenal. And you don't have this colored bezel anymore. It's a black bezel. Again, you have to take apart the whole thing and repair it. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking to do that, but I am super happy with this. So this one's the one I'm going to be giving away. This is going to be for myself. And I reinstalled Hades 2. I want to play more games on it. And this is the whole reason I kind of started this is because I saw a ton of content about the Super OLED Touch. I really want to do that. So those are all the modifications. And these also do have the Hall Effect sticks, and then, like I said, button replacements and whatnot. But like I said, I am super happy with this. I'll give this at a different angle to give a little bit of a better comparison, but that is pretty much it. All right, I do apologize. I couldn't find a better angle to do a little comparison, but something I would like to compare is like, look at the red of, hold up, the red of the normal like icon for right there, and then look at the red for this guy. I just think it is the reds and especially the yellows. Again, it's more in person you see this, but I think they just pop way more on the OLED screen than they do on this one. Even so, like you see, I think the like I said, the gray, it just looks a lot, like, look at that. It looks a lot more black to me. And so, yeah. But y'all, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you want to see more content like this, let me know. I mean, probably not. Like I said, I'm a Lego customizing channel. But I just really wanted to show this recent obsession I have been getting into. So, yeah, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go watch that 2011 film Marengo and have a nice day.